For this section, we are going to kind of do the reverse of what you did in the last section. We are going to start with an equation, and we are going to graph that equation starting with the equation. In the last section, you saw the graph first, and you made an equation off of the graph. So this is going to be just the opposite. And I'm hoping that after what we've talked about in the last two, this is going to be pretty simple. And what's nice about this is once you figure this out, when you graph these, you no longer will have to, I mean, you still can, but you no longer have to make those T-charts. We can just go straight off of what our equation actually says here. So just a quick reminder before we get started with this. This is the equation that we're always looking for when we're graphing a line. When we're graphing a straight line, it always starts with y equals, and then remember the m stands for slope for whatever reason, mx, m times whatever x is, plus b. B is your y-intercept. And remember, slope is how many up and how many over that line is going, or what kind of pattern it's following. And then the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. Remember, if we have our graph here, this is the y-axis, the vertical line, so wherever that's crossing. And then over here, remember, if the slope is negative, remember your line is going to be going like this. If your slope was positive, your line should be going like this. So that's something to keep in mind as we're going forward. All right, here's the first equation we've got here. And what I always do with this is I start with the y-intercept. I see it's plus 2. So I know that this line is going to cross at plus 2 on the y-axis, and the vertical line is the y-axis. So I'm going to put a dot right there. That is definitely on our line. That's the y-intercept. Now we're going to go over to the slope and figure out what the pattern is. Now, there's no negative in front of this, so I know my line is going to be going like this. Okay, it's going to be a positive slope. Now, the thing is, for a slope, you need a top number and a bottom number. So remember, we just put this over 1. So basically what we're saying is we're going to go up 3 and over 1, up 3 and over 1, and remember our line at the end should look like that. So that should help you decide whether you're going to go left or right because it's positive. So all I need to do is go 1, 2, 3 up, right 1. 1, 2, 3 up, right 1. 1, 2, 3 up, right 1. And then you can, once you get that done, you can also do the reverse. We can go 1, 2, 3 down, left 1, just so it stays in that positive pattern like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 down, 1 over. So now we've got plenty of dots for our line here. So I'm just going to come over and create my line just like this. Remember, we want to extend it all the way through the graph because we want to show every point that's going to work for this. Okay, so it should look something like that. Now, if you don't believe me that this works, let's make the T-chart quickly here just so I can show you. So if we go back to our original graph here, 3x plus, our original equation, 3x plus 2. Okay, let's start with 0. Okay, 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 would be 2. That point is right here. Let's try 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That point is right here. Let's try negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 2 more back towards 0 is going to be negative 1. So let's check it out. Negative 1, negative 1. That point is right there. We no longer need this anymore because we should eventually be able to use this equation to graph any line that we have. All right, our next one. Again, I'm going to start with the y-intercept. Where is it going to cross this y-axis? Right here, negative 4. It's not plus 4, it's minus 4, so we've got to start it down here. Now, my slope is negative, so I know my line is going to be going like that direction. Here's my slope, so 5, so we could go up 5. And remember, you have to have a 1 underneath it if there's nothing else underneath it. So I'm just going to go up 5. But I'm actually going to go left 1 because my line needs to look like this. It's negative, so it needs to be going from bottom right to top left. So if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll go left 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 1. And once you have that, you can go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 1. And now we have our line right there. So now all I would do is connect the dots all the way through here, and we've got our line. That's really all we need to do. Again, if you are still not a believer and you want to check with the T-chart here, we can always check with the T-chart just to make sure it works. If I do 0, 0 times negative 5 would be 0, minus 4 is going to be negative 4. 0, negative 4. If I do 1, 1 times negative 5, 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Take away 4 more is negative 9. 1, negative 9. If I try negative 1 in here, just to make sure here, negative 5 times negative 1 would be positive 5. Take away 4 would be positive 1. Negative 1, positive 1. There we go. Alright, next one on here. We've got a fraction already for our slope, so that's a good thing. So we don't need to put a 1 underneath it. Let's start with our y-intercept, which is going to be negative 1. Remember, this is the y-axis. So we got to put it on the negative 1. That's our starting point. And it's a positive slope, so it's going to be going like this. So that would be up to 1, 2. And then we want to go right because we want our line to look like this. Up to, right, 1, 2, 3. Up to, right, 1, 2, 3. We could do it the other way. Down to 1, 2, 3. Just keep following that pattern. Now we've clearly got our line here. We can go straight through. Anything on that line is going to be a solution to our equation right there. Last practice one we'll do before you do some on your own here. I brought this one up because there is no y-intercept after it. Okay? If you don't have a y-intercept after it, it's basically plus 0 is what it is, meaning your starting point is going to be right here. So if it never has anything after, it's the same thing as plus 0, which means we're going to start right in the middle there. So now we need to go with our slope. Our slope is negative, so it's going to be going like that. Okay, it's going to be going from bottom right to top left in a pattern of 1 going up and 4 going over. So that would be 1 going up, and then I want to go left because I want my line to look like this. 1 going up, 1, 2, 3, 4 going over. 1 going up, 1, 2, 3, 4 going over. And we can reverse it here. 1 going down, 4 going to the right. 1 going down, 4 going over to the right. Make sure I count right. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So now we've got our graph. We've got everything we need. Now we just need to draw our line. And again, this line just signifies that everything that this line goes through, if we made a T-chart, those points would all fit into this equation. Alright, I'm going to do all 4 of these on this one graph here, but these are the ones that I want you to try to practice by yourself. I put this one down here for a reason, and we'll see what you come up with for this here. But all 3 of these should be ones that you should be able to do just off that video. And then I'll give you a hint for this one right here. It's just like when we had those, when we had variables, we didn't have anything in front of them, we just put the 1 in front of it. That's going to be the same thing here. So negative x is the same thing as negative 1x. That should be a hint for you. Why don't you pause this, see how you do. If you have questions as you're going, make sure you let me know, and then check it with the video to see how you did.